In the days of the Noldor's homecoming to the realms of Middle-earth, Finrod and his valiant brethren took up their dwelling in the resplendent northern reaches of Beleriand, close by their noble kinsman Fingolfin. Yet, relentless and dire, the ominous grip of Morgoth loomed ever near, casting a pall of fear over the land. Despite the Noldor's valor and their glorious triumph in the battle under stars, the cold lands of Hithlum remained a bitterly held prize. Yet Finrod, undaunted by the looming danger, resolved to construct a mighty stronghold to protect his people. And so, he set his hand to the building of Minas Tirith, on the Isle of Sirion, a fortress that would stand as a bulwark against the encroaching darkness. In the 50th year of the First Age, Finrod's cousin Turgon visited him in Tol Sirion, having come from his realm of Nevrast. Together, they journeyed southwards to Beleriand. As they rested in the meres of twilight, they were visited by Ulmo, the Lord of Waters, who cast them into a deep sleep and gave them both troubling dreams. Though they did not speak of their visions to each other, the cousins knew that they must prepare for the possibility of Morgoth breaking the siege of Angband, and so they began to search for hidden refuges. Years later, Finrod and his sister Galadriel dwelt in the courts of King Thingol, where they were told of the Caverns of Narog. On the western bank of the river, beneath the forested hills of Taur en Faroth, there lay a series of caverns, once inhabited in secret by the petty dwarves before they were driven out from their home. With guides provided by the king, Finrod was inspired to build his great underground fortress there, much like the splendorous Menegroth. And so, the construction of Nargothrond began, with the remaining petty dwarves offering their aid in exchange for generous compensation. However, their chieftain Mim harbored ill will towards the elves and attempted to murder Finrod while he slept. As a result, he and his kin were swiftly expelled from the worksite. In need of expert assistance in delving the complex cave system, Finrod turned to the dwarves of the Blue Mountains for aid. They not only provided their skill in mining and crafting, but also forged for him the Noglamir, the famous necklace of the dwarves, which earned Finrod his renowned epithet Felagund, Hewer of Caves, in the tongue of the dwarves. In return for their invaluable help, Finrod rewarded the dwarves with treasures he had brought from Tirion upon Tuna. The structure of Nargothrond was similar to that of many underground dwarven cities, consisting of many miles of caves and tunnels of various shapes and sizes carved through the rock, possibly limestone. 3 great halls were centered around the other tunnels and caves, with the innermost chamber being the deepest of all, where the king sat. The realm's armories were located in several chambers south of the great halls, and the main entrance, the doors of Felagund, faced the river Narog, leading into a large chamber about 500 feet from the great halls of Felagund. The lands to the north of the citadel were considered part of its realm, and the elves of Nargothrond kept unceasing watch on the grasslands to the north. There Finrod raised a hill in the wide plain that would later be called Talath Dirnen, the guarded plain. Amon Ethir, they named it, the Hill of Spies, for from its clear summit, the watchers of Nargothrond could keep a keen eye upon the surrounding lands with the unerring sight of elvenkind. Though trees grew upon its flanks over the years, the hill remained a vital strategic point for the realm of Nargothrond. Once Nargothrond had been razed, Finrod entrusted the pass of Sirion and the watchtower Minas Tirith to his brother Orodreth. From Sirion, the mighty river sprang forth, coursing along the edge of Ardgarlan before plunging through the pass, where it gradually swelled with the mountain streams. Flowing southward for 130 leagues, Sirion gathered the waters of numerous tributaries, culminating in a majestic flood as it reached its multiple mouths, forming a sandy delta in the Bay of Balar. Tracing Sirion's path from north to south, on the right-hand side in West Beleriand, lay the forest of Brethil, between Sirion and Teglin, followed by the realm of Nargothrond, between Teglin and Narog. The river Narog originated in the falls of Ivrin on the southern face of Dorlomin, flowing for about 80 leagues before joining Sirion in Nantathran, the land of willows. Finrod's realm possessed a renowned fleet, sailing upon the mighty rivers that graced the land, and the realm of Nargothrond extended even west of Narog to the river Nenning, which reached the sea at Eglarest. Thus, Finrod became the overlord of all the elves of Beleriand, between Sirion and the sea, save for those of the Falas. The Sindar, who harboured a deep love for seafaring, dwelt in the Falas and were renowned as the Falathrim under the wise rulership of Círdan, the master shipwright. A strong bond of friendship and alliance flourished between Círdan and Finrod, and the shipbuilding skills of the Falathrim found kindred spirits among the elves of Nargothrond. Many elves, guided by the currents of the rivers, ventured forth on ships to explore the vast Isle of Balar, hoping to prepare a final refuge should evil befall them. With the aid of the Noldor, the havens of Brithumbar and Eglarest were rebuilt, transforming into splendid towns and harbours adorned with stone quays and piers. On the cape west of Eglarest, Finrod raised the tower of Barad Nimras, which overlooked the western shores. Yet Morgoth never sought to build ships or wage war upon the sea. His servants held a deep dread for the water, shunning its touch, for the power of Ulmo still resonated along the coasts of Middle-earth. Now, Nargothrond found itself shielded from both the west and the east. For to the west lay the vast expanse of Falas, while to the east its boundary extended until it met Doriath. Beyond that point, the fens emerged, where Aros meandered into Sirion, forming vast pools and marshlands on either side. This area was known as Aelin Uyal, the Meres of Twilight, shrouded in ethereal mists and enchanted by the essence of Doriath. The southern slopes of Beleriand gracefully descended to this juncture, creating a brief expanse before the surge of Sirion came to a halt. Below Aelin Uyal, the land abruptly plunged, forming a steep demarcation between the lower and upper fields of Sirion. When viewed from the south, this spectacle appeared as an unending chain of hills. Roughly 25 leagues east of Nargothrond's gorge, Sirion descended forcefully from the north, cascading below the meres in a majestic waterfall. It then plunged into vast subterranean tunnels, painstakingly carved by the weight of its mighty waters. Emerging 3 leagues to the south, it roared with great tumult and emitted billows of mist through rocky archways at the base of the hills, known as the Gates of Sirion. Thus, the realm of Finrod stood as the greatest among all, even though he was the youngest among the great lords of the Noldor. It proved resilient and enduring, yet a shadow loomed in the dark, foretelling the footstep of doom and the peril it would unleash upon the land.